Yeah, I don't like to shave neither, but had to clean it up a little bit so it can grow back. I try to do it without getting one of these because I'm sick of that happening. But just a couple things I wanted to address real quick. Uh, First and foremost, uh, next time I see you, Mr. Griffin, there's gonna be some smoke. Uh, yeah, we're gonna have to squabble. But after that, I take you to my mom's house. Uh, you know, how you have her make you the best down home meal, country meal you ever had. And so I know you appreciate that being from where you from. Um, and so after I put a knot on your head, then, we can hug it out, take you to Mom Duke's house and get you fed. Uh, with all that being said, there's different people that, have been trying to make statements about, me being scared or intimidated uh, about other people's gifts or whatever it may be. Um, the fact of the matter is this. Um, I'm not worried about nobody. When I know my intentions and I know that I've been praying for people, I know that, because of everything else around me as well, certain things can seem more than what it is. As I've said, it was a different person who had, and this isn't nobody that necessarily helped me, but this was a person who had subscribed to my channel, and so I subscribed back. I just thought that was being cool. Realizing now, people took that and tried to place that on one person or the other. That wasn't my goal. That wasn't my intent. And so that's what I mean. That's the danger of this, because as people speak, people use other people's words to try to accuse people of other things. And that goes into my next point. We all have to be careful of what we say is in another person. Like, on a dead serious note, be careful what you say is in another person. Sin is in the flesh. And so that's something you need to understand. And if it's in the flesh, it's not in the heart. What's in the heart is what contaminates a man. What a man intends to do in his mind and in his motives and all of that. And so when we try to place certain things on a person that are not true, we have to be careful of that. I've dealt with this for years, as I've said. Many different people, since I started talking about, different things concerning the mark of the beast, helping out different people, all of that stuff. People have found an issue or tried to find an issue with different things that I was saying, even at different points that I was doing better. And instead of, because it was like people would pay close attention enough just to see when I messed up or when I wasn't completely doing something right, and not seeing any wins behind the scenes, not seeing any of these other things that happen. And it was like people were trying to, because of the different things that I had already experienced, people were trying to use those different trauma moments to try to force me offline. Even the very people that I've helped at times. But as I've said, some of the same people that fed, and even came against me, one of y'all are even the reason why I even stuck around, because why go through all of that for no reason? Why have all this attention on you for no reason? And so in the process, like I said, growing, trying to figure out things, and put my own stuff together, I made a bunch of mistakes. True. You're going to make mistakes. When you experiment, when you're doing something that nobody has necessarily taught you before, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes if you're intoxicated, you're drunk, you have anything else going on that can block your discernment from what's actually taking place. And a lot of things we wouldn't do if we didn't have certain things as distractions, certain things physically trying to prohibit us and all of that. And so it's important that we be careful about what we say is in a person. Because, as I've said, man, if you guilty of anything in the law, if you guilty of anything, then you're going to be condemned by the very thing that you try to condemn another person about. As I've said, instead of going to the extremes on that, I tried to separate from the very people because I didn't want to say anything or do anything that was disrespectful by continuously seeing people address me or different things around my situation or the fruit of my body even from, like people trying to control the message about these different things. And as I've said, I know that I've been attacked because people look at it as me being mentally weak. The only area that I have been weak, and this is one of the reasons why I love one of the younger ladies that was helping me, Miss D. She recognized my weakness was my heart, and that I am a strong man in some ways, and I appreciated that. And so she used the comparison of Samson and Delilah. Now, people took those things personally, but I understood why she was doing it. And there's been situations that everybody that has spoken on something about me has been correct. And the same thing with me. And so one of the things that, and of course, I'm not going to stop being attracted to women and liking women because of that. Because that's a flaw. I just learned to take my heart or the way I feel about things out of my dealings with women. I got to use my head at all times because every time I use my heart, even if, I'm not saying you can't love your woman, but it's like when it comes to certain things, when like with arguments and different things, you have to learn to disengage, especially if it's not a productive argument. There's nothing wrong with having disagreements, but if you can't get to a solution, it's not a good argument to have, because eventually somebody's going to end up saying something that, either is true and they wanted to say the whole time, or that they don't mean, and they end up hurting people the same in the process. And so, we got to be careful with our words. What we say is in a person. What we say another person is about or doing. And that's the reason why I apologized last night to Miss Love about, the whole spider situation, because I understand part of her calling is to help women with that. And so I've never mocked you for that. I mock certain things, as I've said, that obviously fake. But I don't come against people and their gifts anymore. I try to discern who is using it in a good way and who is using it in a bad way. The enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And so when I notice different people using their gifts in order to, like I said, somebody could repent of something. Somebody could have made a mistake, any mistake. And yet you got different people that constantly want to bring up the mistake, constantly want to, as I've said, produce messages about whatever thing. And it's, when people being led by God or not. The whole message hit different. The message hit different. And now the way you communicate it might not be exactly the same, but the message is going to hit different. All that being said, man, the whole point of me recording this real quick, I'm not worried about nobody because I know I operate out of the best capacity that I can, especially in my dealings with people, because I understand the sensitivity of that. I have a son, as I said, that is autistic. Many different reasons why I had to learn to be a lot more sensitive. As I said, my last relationship situation, or serious relationship situation with my son's mother. There's knowing how she is, how she thinks about things. I wish I would have been more. I wish I would have gotten more clarity for both of us in the beginning, because the ball was ultimately in my court, but it took, like, the way that I felt